Okay, g'day yet again. Alright, I thought I'd better do a part 3 to this actually. I was saying in part 2 I didn't get a lot of movement on this side. I couldn't sort of get it back to being zeroed, like zero camber, and it was still leaning out. But when I said it must have been sort of not sitting correctly in the arm or something, because when I tightened the nut up it pulled in some more, and yeah, I've got them pretty much both at zero camber now. What I will show you too, this will make it easier so you know what sort of turns you're doing. Yeah, let's get this light positioned. Yeah. Okay, when you're turning that nut, there is a factory notch in that nut, and the notch is on the short side. So the notch on this, which you can't see, is right around the outside there, down there. And on the other side it's the opposite, because I've had to pull the other one in and pull this one out. But yeah, so that factory notch is a guide, you know, like you only go half a turn from, like half a turn's a full adjustment, you know, from one way to the other. So there's no point turning it around and round and round, does it? You're just wasting time. Anyway, so yeah, the notch is the short side, and as I said, because I've had to pull this one out and the other one in, I've got the notch on the outside and this one on the inside on the other side. Anyway, yeah, as I said, when I tightened this nut up, I did pull it in and brought it back to zero. And yeah, doing that nut up too, like you can't get a socket on it. I had to just use a rig spanner. So I use an old trick, and you still got to be, like, you got to be careful doing this, because you could probably put enough tension on it if you tried to actually strip the thread or break it, stretch the bolt. But yeah, because I can't get a socket in there with any sort of length, this is what I do to give myself some leverage, so I can make sure it's tight. Just lock one ring spanner onto the other one. So, but yeah, as I said, you got to use your common sense. You know, you got to be aware of how much pressure you're putting on it, and you sort of get a feel for it. Yeah, and this comes after years of working on cars. You sort of pull it at a certain tension, and you feel it come to a stop, and you know that that's as far as you should go. But as I said, that just comes with experience. It's something you get a feel for. Right, well, I'm under here. As I expected, changing the camber has dramatically affected the toe in, so I'm going to have to do another toe in alignment. And I don't know if I mentioned this on the previous one, so I'm going to go now, but it actually makes me wonder whether I set it up properly last time too, because yeah, important thing here. A bit in the way here. The light keeps falling over. Right. Up here, this is your pipman arm on your steering box. Now what's real important, and these, is the light's not going to stand up. It's just going to keep flopping it. There we go. Right, so your arm here, you've got a stopper here. You got a stopper here, and that meets the other side of your arm. So they should be pretty much in the centre. So the same distance from there to there. That's where you do your wheel alignment. That's so that you get the same amount of turn each, you know, from lock to centre. On one side is the same, on the other side you get the same amount of turns. That's your starting point. And that's provided somebody hasn't had the pitman arm off and put it back on the steering box in the wrong position, because that can happen too, and especially a car and it's, you know, what's this, 40 years old now or something, you know. So who knows how many times it's all been pulled apart. But that one I know is right, because I've had the steering box apart and I did put the pitman arm, yeah, like centre to the steering box. So yeah, as I said, this sort of makes me wonder whether I got it right last time I did too, because the steering wheel's nowhere near it. But rather than, what's easier than getting, and probably more accurate actually, than getting under there and messing around trying to, yeah, measure things. And this is an issue, this is where you need a hoist, because these sort of alignment things have to be done with the car sitting on its wheels at its right height, which means you just gotta, you could do it on ramps if you can't get under the car, but you can't jack it up, have your wheels off the ground, because you'll get wrong readings. But yeah, so the other thing you can do is like go from lock to lock. I'm not going to move it because I've already got set at centre where I want it, but and find out where the centre is with your wheel. See, and this is the centre. See, this is how many, like I've got the same amount of turns one way as I have the other, and this is where it centres. And yeah, of course the steering wheel's not straight, but that's easy enough to fix, you know. Undo the nut, pull it off, put it back on straight. So yeah, and a lot of tyre, yeah, wheel alignment places will do that. They'll just get it straight with the wheel, you know, regardless of whether it's centered with your steering box or your steering rack, which is a mistake. It's a laziness thing. But I suppose when you get modern cars too, they don't want to interfere with steering wheels and airbags and things, so that's probably why they wouldn't do that. They probably also assume that if it's a more modern car that everything's still in factory position. So, but yeah, that's not the case with 40-year-old cars. But yeah, so that's where I've got to do my wheel alignment from. And yeah, was there anything else I was going to mention? Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention too, when you're popping that ball joint, don't use a wedge unless you're replacing the ball joint, because you'll destroy the rubber. Okay. Wedges are for ball joint replacement. But yeah. And this is how we check our measurement. Our thing, we're in the centre, we're running across the centre caps on all the wheels, we've got the line tight. It's, you know, starts and finishes on the back bar. Yeah. See the gap here? Okay. So yeah, that's got to be adjusted out, because it'll be half of that. You know, you won't have to adjust it out. Yeah, that's about 10 mil, but you won't, 8 to 10 mil, but yeah, you won't have to adjust it out 8 to 10 mil, because the front will come in. And I'll show you on the other side. See the other side. Right. Yeah, what you do is you get your line, because the other side's turning in, see? So you get your line, put your fingers under the front of it, and you see that's now lifting this line. Not very good light here. See it pulling away from the tyre. So you get it to just where it's just touching the back, and it will be just touching the front. It's actually not too bad. It's only about a mil, not even that. You can tell when it's touching actually, because yeah, pull it up and down, it'll be grabbing the tyre, see, rolling the line. That's how you know it's sort of touching. And let's see, yeah, take it a few times. Yeah, actually this is pretty well spot on. I'm going to leave this side. So I'm just going to adjust the other side now. That's pretty well straight left hand wheel. So yeah, it's now the right hand wheel's towing out. So if you haven't done those, I'll show you actually on here what you do to adjust it. That's your tube with the clamps on it going onto your tie rod end. Yeah, undo those two bolts on the nuts and bolts so it's loose on the threads. Spray a bit of WD on your threads, both ends, and yeah, you're gonna have to. It's sort of a bit hard to do, but look at this stupid light that's staying up. I gotta get another light. Serious. Drop it on there. Yeah. You can either guess at it, wind it in or out and check it, or you can see when you look at the thread, you find where the thread starts, and that will tell you which way you turn it. Like you get, vice grips, still something onto this pipe and you turn the pipe. And yeah, so if you follow the thread along, it'll show you which way to turn it to move it in or out. And turn it out to where it looks good out here, and then go and check the other side, because quite often when you're winding on this side, but because it's got the weight sitting on the wheels, it'll push both wheels sometimes, and you'll have to keep checking the other side and maybe moving the wheel a little bit. Yeah, until you get it right. And then when you've got it all right, then you take the steering wheel back off and put your steering wheel straight. Okay, well, I hope I've covered everything. I said I still haven't taken the time to get an editing program, but I will put all these on one video. So yeah. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.